you know, and you don't want to send out the message that you're like a basic, you know, like it's just not the way to live.
Hi, beautiful human. I'm Zach. That is Dan. We welcome to the studio for the first time ever, the incredibly iconic, the incredibly storied, the passionate. You're a true fucking artist. Julia Fox is here.
Oh, thank you.
No, you're a real one.
Thank you.
You've also been through hell and back to get to the studio today. So really, thank you so much for
I
the
really
sacrifice.
didn't think I was going to make it. I really, for a moment, I was like, I have to call and cancel.
And
like,
by the way,
no way.
I would have understood.
Yeah, I know. From your videos, I was like, he'll understand that I need to reschedule.
Can you give us 1 second? We have to make an adjustment.
Jay, the jacket looks strange.
Oh, should I just take it off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Sorry. Do you mind
No, yeah,
restarting?
you can do whatever, yeah.
are you
Okay.
cold or?
No.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, I just had it on, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Lock that door. I never want that to
See,
happen.
like, I'm the person who'd like just keep that in the episode because that's a
Good.
natural,
It's a
organic
real.
moment.
It's a real moment. You're right.
Yeah,
You're
like
right.
who the fuck? Like,
And who wants to restart?
No,
no.
but
I need to
yes.
tell you all about what
you
it
lived,
took for me to get here.
You lived my nightmare.
It was a nightmare, and it all started on an American Airlines flight. First red flag, but it was the only flight that had the time that I could get on. And I'm sleeping, and the flight attendant comes, and she tells me to put the seat up. Already so annoying, but I'm like, okay, I'll half put it up.
I do it all the time.
Exactly. Go back to sleep. Next thing I know, I hear the zzz, and she took the liberty of putting my seat up herself. And then I hear a bullet. Like it sounded like a gunshot. Just boom, like underneath me. And I'm like, wow, these seats are so janky, but it's American Airlines. It's okay. It's expected. And when we land, I realize I don't have my phone. And I start looking for it, and I realize that loud crash was my phone getting snapped in half in the seat. So I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Like, I'm not going to yell at her. Like, I'm just going to take the L. I needed a new phone anyway. I've had this phone for like 4 years. Like, it was time for an upgrade anyway. I'm due for an upgrade. I have many upgrades. So I just let it go. But then I very quickly realized how dependent I am on my phone. Can't call an Uber. I don't even know where I'm going. So I take the shuttle to a rental car place. Get a rental car, and as I'm checking out, I realize they give little like pads, like travel pads that have Wi-Fi. So I'm like, great, I can use this to Google stuff and the directions. Then I end up at this hotel, which I thought was the hotel I was staying at. And and it's about 1:30 in the morning now. And I'm arguing with the man, and I'm telling him, no, I have a reservation here. I'm 100% sure. He's like, I don't see a reservation. Mind you, I look insane. Like, no, like just look crazy. My hair's a mess. I'm dressed really weird, you know, like I have plastic bags. I have chocolate bars coming out of my bag. Like my bag is fully open, and it looks just like, it just looks like a garbage can.
What rental car are you in?
A Mustang. I'm in a
Classic
Mustang.
Los Angeles
Yes,
rental car.
Of course. And I'm telling the man, no, I swear I have a reservation. He's looking at me like, who is this crazy lady trying to scam a room at this very nice hotel? And I'm like, I swear I'm there for 45 minutes. Out of nowhere, Twigs walks in. I say hi to her. I haven't seen her in like a year. We're catching up. And I guess he like clocked that and then realized I like wasn't a crazy lady. And also I couldn't be like, I'm a celebrity, I'm famous. Cause then he'd be like, oh, she's really crazy. Like call the police. Like, you know, like I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like I'm trying to like stay normal so he doesn't think I'm crazy, but it's hard because I'm so cranky and I'm so irritated. Come back from saying hi to Twigs, he's like, okay, we found you a room. When prior, there was no rooms available, and he was being such a dick. Anyway, I go upstairs, and I only know two people's numbers by heart. Brianna, who just came in, and my other friend from middle school, Kara, because the only numbers you have are people that you were friends with, like, pre-cell phone and stuff. So calling them on repeat. Nobody's answering me. Can't get into my email because they keep sending the verification code to my phone, and I don't have my phone. And I really was like, and it's already like 2:30 now. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. And then whatever, woke up super early and got in touch with Brianna, and she was like, "You're at the wrong hotel." And I was like, oh my God, okay, this makes sense, because the man, he told me that I didn't have reservation, whatever. Anyway, it's all good. We made it. I went to T-Mobile, I got a new phone, and I made it here on time.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Besides that genuine trip to hell and back, how are you doing?
Really good. Yeah.
How does
I'm
it-
getting my period soon, so I feel a little testy, you know, and this definitely didn't help. But, you know, I think we're just moving into the age of Aquarius, I guess, and things are, I don't know, because all that happening made me realize how dependent I am on my phone and how like helpless I am without it. And I never want to feel that way again. So I think I'm going to just get an old school little phone book or something.
Interesting.
And like, I don't know, because that is really like, it was just getting worse and worse. Like I just couldn't, yeah.
It is uniquely a moment where you can realign priorities.
Yeah.
Because like you're stranded. Like in that moment, you actually have to figure out based on what you have, which thank God you had physical credit cards on you.
I know.
It,
I had
like-
one card too. And I was like, what if it's like maxed out? I don't know when the last time I paid it is. And if it is maxed out, how am I going to call them and like verify? Like, thank God for that.
Like
Yeah.
everything exists on your phone. Mm-hmm. Losing that, you lose access to so much.
They have a lot of power over us.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's very
Yeah,
scary.
It is.
We have a lot to discuss here. Is like you are, I mean, I stated it earlier. I mean, you are a multi-hyphenate human being. But what does it feel like to be a published author in this way?
You know, it was always a dream of mine to actually, I came to a realization the other day that at 27, I made a 5-year plan, like one of those vision boards. And I didn't actually have a board, but I had a printer. So I printed out all the things that I wanted. And on I'm just going to keep calling it a board, even though there was no board. But on the board, I had like a kid. I had a Dodge Challenger, which was always my dream car. I had, and then I had a book deal was one of them. But anyway, and then I came to a realization that I got my book deal at 32, which was 5 years from when I made that vision board. So and everything on the list, I got it. So now I've just been telling everyone, make the vision board. Because at the time when I made that board, it was like wildest dream stuff. Like I wasn't close to it. I wasn't I couldn't even see it, but it was just stuff I wanted. And I honestly, I didn't even really make a clear and concise plan to get the stuff. I just said, I want the stuff. I didn't actually develop the steps to get it.
Totally.
I just was like, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I just laid it out on my floor, and it was just on my floor for like a year. And now we're here.
There's something to seeing that every day, whether you're like consciously or subconsciously putting in the work to get there.
Yeah.
You're putting in the work to get there, right?
Yeah.
Look at your new phone ringing.
I
That's
don't know. This is like the
congratulations.
new phone. I don't know how to put it on silent. Does anyone know?
Oh my God, you're a USB-C iPhone person now.
Yes. I was I had a phone from like 4 years ago. I was like in the dark ages.
Oh, welcome. There's a button on the side. It's
Okay.
like up left corner. Oh. Yeah, it's new. It's new.
Got it. Done. Okay.
But this is not the first time manifestation has worked in your life for you.
Okay, I guess it didn't work. Can you do it? I said that it was.
So it's
I pressed it.
Yeah, you push it in.
Oh, maybe you have to hold it or something.
got it.
Oh, they're always complicating stuff. It's like it worked fine before. Like why?
Why change the little switch?
No.
But manifestation in your life has worked before.
I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, one of the moments from your book that stands out in my head is you manifested your first sugar daddy.
Yeah. I pray at night every single night.
You did.
Yeah.
I mean, you have that power within you.
I get, but you know what? I think everyone does because
agree.
I think the power comes with like believing it, you know, and I feel like if you believe it, that's the power, you know? So when, like, that's why I always tell people, like, be delusional. Like, anyone that's anybody was delusional, you know? Like, they did not
It's true.
calculate where they were, like, they just believed it and they became it, you know?
Was there a defining moment where you realized that it does have the power to work? Was it when you were 18?
You know what? The first time ever that I ever had a moment like that where I was like, holy shit, God is real, or like something is real was, I don't know if I wrote about this in the book, but I remember that I was walking from my friend's house in Harlem. Like we were hanging out. It was like 2, 3 in the morning. And I like, for some reason wanted to go home, which I never did. But for some reason this night I did. And I didn't have any way to get home. So I decided I was going to walk through the park from Harlem on the west side to Harlem on the east side. And as I'm walking through the park, I realize I'm being followed. So then I start walking through the tunnel. I like jump down, and I'm on the tunnel where the cars go. So at least there's some, you know, an occasional car passing through. They'll see me if something happens. And I'm trying not to look back because I don't want him to know that I know he's behind me, because then he might go in for the kill. So I'm just kind of like, you know, picking up my step and like, but I'm like still like hearing it and I see it. And in that moment, I got really, really scared, and I prayed to God. I was like, please, God, get me through this tunnel, and I will change my life. I will be the best person ever and never do anything. But, and then I looked down and there was $5, and then a cab passed by, and I was able to get in the cab, and that $5 got me just across to the end of the tunnel. And then I was able to like, you know, walk the rest of the way. But it's like, that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, that's too weird to be a coincidence. Like, I don't know, because I prayed and then I looked down, there was $5
That's
and then
crazy.
a cab, all in like a 30-second span. And ever since then, I became a really avid prayer.
There's something even leading up to that moment where you've been so focused solely on survival up until that moment in Harlem, right? Like, 'cause survival was a part of your early DNA and how you literally had to steal to survive.
Yeah.
Can you just describe what that is actually like?
Well, I think when you're in survival mode, you don't really have time to like dream, you know, like you don't really have time to figure out anything about yourself because you're always just kind of worried about how you're going to make it and how you're going to be okay. And
Worried
how you're
about that thing following you.
Yeah, you know, and it's always a thing. It's always something, you know, whether it's a man or it's addiction or, you know, whatever it might be. And so, you know, it took my adrenal glands are just like shot. Like I just like have like abnormal reactions to things because I'm like kind of numb in a way, or like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but people that will know, you know, I don't know. You develop a really thick skin and things don't really affect you in the same way they affect other people, or they do, but like you'll see the effects of it later on, you know, it'll like linger and, you know, come show its face in weird, unexpected ways, opposed to like the immediate feeling of whatever it is that's happening, you know?
And that's purely based on the way you were conditioned, right? And the way you had to live.
Yeah.
Your story's wild, Julia. It's like, I don't think society and culture has given you enough credit for your story and who you are as a person. It is crazy.
Thank you. I know, but it's like everyone, you know
Everyone
what I mean?
has a story,
Everyone
but-
has a story. Like mine, I mean, I don't want to say that mine pales in comparison to some others, but it does. Like, you know, people are really out here also going through really terrible stuff, you know, and I just feel like I got lucky.
Hello, beautiful human. Every year, millions of gamers experience IGSS, inadequate gaming setup syndrome. Luckily, a cure has been found. You have to go beyond with the Vibrasonic mattress by Beyond Sleep. This thing has 6 built-in subwoofers, USB ports for charging, LED lights so you never stub your toe. It gives you an acoustic massage when you want it, plus adjustable degrees of comfort. This right here is the best way to game ever. Cure your IGSS today at BeyondSleepTech.com. Dude, like even it's kind of hard to even figure out where to begin, right?
No.
And was it hard going back so deep into your life to write a book like this? Because
It was.
there is something to what you said, right? Like you've reached a new phase of your life, right? Like that last manifestation at 27 to now is like, it's a totally different. chapter, different book.
I know. I felt like every chapter could have been its own book. Like I was really condensing and, like even all my really close friends that read it were like, you left out so much. And I was like, dude, I know, but I couldn't have it be like, I wanted it to be like just a quick, easy read, like I didn't, whatever. I'm not
You're an amazing writer.
Thank you. Yeah, I love writing.
Was it hard or painful to go back so deep?
It was, but it was also very cathartic in a way because I really had to, and that's also why I wrote it in present tense, was because I really wanted to, or because I really had to put myself back there and write it as it's happening. So I kind of had to relive it in a way. And I feel like that was just the only way for this kind of book because so much of that stuff, first of all, it would come back to me as I was writing it, which was interesting because I feel like my friends all call me like the master forgetter because I just forget, move on, like never happened.
Keep going forward.
Yeah. And, that's also a survival mechanism to kind of just like black out and not have, it's your mind's way of protecting you,
Totally. Keep going.
So I get it. And, a lot of it came back as I was writing and it was really, really cathartic and really therapeutic. And by the time I was done, I was really ready to just unload it all, like give it away. Like I've been carrying this for so long. Now you guys can carry it, or metabolize it in whatever way and shape or form. And if it helps even one person, like I did my job,
Do you gain a new perspective on figures in your life like your dad by writing this book?
Definitely. Well, yes. But also becoming a parent changed my perspective on my dad a lot. Because when I realized like how hard it is, I'm like, oh my God, he was a saint. Like I just couldn't see that because he wasn't perfect. But to like take on all of that and it be 2 kids and I was really a handful and I think we all just do the best we can and ultimately it's like everyone is someone's victim. Like it's just a chain of victimization. It's like, I think my dad was also a victim of his circumstances too. And I think he did the best he could with the tools he had, which weren't much because of the society we live in. It's just such a bigger issue that parents aren't supported.
Totally.
Yeah. And it's so hard. And even just financially and like just not having that village and not having the means or the resources, especially in a city like New York where there's just so many freaking people. And it's like sometimes it feels like we're all just fighting for crumbs,
It's true.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way to put it. Mm-hmm. New York City really conditions people in a certain way.
Yeah, it's cutthroat.
Do you wish you would have maybe grown up in Italy?
Not
Fully?
Italy per se, but I definitely do fantasize about what it would be like, living somewhere else and maybe like coming to New York because I chose to. Like I feel like I'm like a townie. Like, when you go to a town and you meet the locals and they're always kind of like I'm that, like I didn't choose that life. Like it
chose you.
It chose me, and I feel like I'm like still at home. Like I feel like someone who grew up in a small town and they're still at home and they never like left the town like they were supposed to.
Is
like
New
I feel
York
like
your home, not Italy in your mind?
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah.
How do you view Italy? What's your
I love Italy so much, but I didn't really come of age there. I was still like a baby when I was there. So I remember it really fondly. And there's been moments where I'm like, oh, thank God I had that kind of almost normalcy in Italy where I saw the way that, things can be. And like the love from my grandfather and my family over there. And like, they're just normal, like it's not at all like the United States. Like, and everyone's like the same there. Like everyone has the same like moral compass, code of ethics. Like what happens at this kid's house happens at that kid's house. It's like, it's just a different world.
So is that why you get kicked out of your host family's house for hooking up with your host sister's crush?
Yeah. but they wanted me out way before that. They wanted me out like the day I came in.
I just love that your mom jumped at the opportunity to send you to some random family's home, like
Always.
down the street from where your grandfather lives.
That's her. Yeah.
Does writing the book change your relationship with your mom or your perspective on your mom?
We don't really have that much of a relationship.
Is that hard?
It's I want to say like it's hard, but it's not. And I feel bad that it's not. But it's like you kind of can't miss something you never had. Like this is just what I know, and it almost feels like awkward when we're trying to force it. It just feels like I just hate it. Like I'm like I don't see the point of it. I just don't see the point. Whereas like with my dad, I like actually spent every single day with this wool. Like, you know what I mean? Like he knows me. Like I know him. It's just different.
You guys have quite the story. Like, I mean, you would steal out of your dad's wallet. You became a pro at shoplifting.
Mm-hmm.
And did your dad really keep you at school while he went to film the chaos on 9/11?
Yeah.
But people are imperfect. Parents are people.
I know.
They're just...
And I was so mad because I was like, why didn't you take me with you? Like, I wanted to go.
That would have been a lot.
And when you're like 9 or 10, like you don't... Like I didn't even understand that was a big deal. Like I was just like, well, what? It's just 2 buildings, like a world war for 2 buildings. Like in my little brain, I couldn't equate that. Now I'm like, oh my God, yeah, like, okay, I get it now. Actually, I don't because whatever, our government is horrible. But at the time, I didn't understand the severity.
Do you enjoy raising your son in New York?
That's another thing. I'm like, I don't know if I find that I take him to the same park that I went to and go to the same school that I went to. And it's like, and I'm like, is this really it? Like, I don't know. I can't help but think like, or wish that there was more.
What is more?
I don't know. Like maybe something totally different, like in the country or like on a rural farm. Maybe the city life like isn't really what it's cracked up to be.
You've had these moments. You went to Louisiana, right?
Exactly. And I loved living on the bayou and just being in the middle of nowhere and not having any neighbors and just like it was really magical. And I want Valentino to have that, to be. Because there's something really healing about nature. And I feel like New York is just the polar opposite of that. Whereas like LA, you're kind of in the middle. Like, in Silver Lake, you can still hear like roosters in the morning sometimes. You know what I mean? Like you still get that a little bit.
See the stars.
But you don't get that in New York. Like
at all.
I was just on location for a film for a month in New Mexico. And Valentino was like seeing his like first sunsets.
Wow.
Yeah. Like he'd seen them, but like through the crack of a building or like he was too young to really remember it. But, at 3.5, he can like register a sunset. And then it became a thing that he would wait for every night to go see the sunset because you can see the sky. He'd just be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I was like, oh my God, my poor child, like this deprived child doesn't even know about the sky.
It's honestly true.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I'm like failing him.
Putting it through that lens, you prioritize different aspects of how the world works, right? Because you need that as a human being to be conditioned and to grow and to understand.
And also, like, I just see, like, everyone I came up with, like, a lot of them are dead. Most of them are drug addicts. Like, there's really only a handful of us that, like, went on to be okay. And it was only after we went like through hell and back. And I'm just afraid. Like, I don't want him to get, when you're in a city like New York and everything's at your fingertips and like, it's almost impossible to not get sucked into some, some weird shit, and I know my son and he's very curious and he's a little too friendly. And I'm just afraid that he's gonna like fuck up and then I'm gonna be, like devastated.
So where do you want to go?
I mean, TBD. I have an idea, but I don't want to say because I don't want anyone else to discover it and then move there too. Because I'm like trying to be alone with the goats and the chickens.
Sick.
Yeah, like to me, that's paradise.
That's healthy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's healthy, but that level of isolation, but I crave it. I don't know why. I just do.
But I feel like there's a medium, right? Like you'll build a new community and a new group of people. Like you have access to different things, so you're not depraved.
Yeah.
You're just depraved of things that you're used to.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always just had a dream of like living off grid and like
Do it.
pumping water from my own well
Okay,
and
that's a
having the
little
solar
much.
panel. I know. It's like that's like how deep I want to go. Like that's what off grid is though. It's like you have a well on your property and you have solar panels and it's all solar energy.
But maybe there's like a middle ground.
Or upstate New York.
I don't know. Like
No. No.
I feel like there's something
There's too many Trump supporters up there.
True. Scary.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there's something to like listening to cautionary tales, right? Like you've had an incredible, crazy life. And like you've seen what New York City breeds and brings, right? And like understanding what sort of balance you want in your life and in your son's life moving forward is important. And like I just make a parallel to the book is like you met a drug dealer ace that would go on to literally change your life. Is that fair to say?
Oh, yeah.
But you knew he was a piece of shit because he was dating your friend and you found him on MySpace.
Yeah.
Cautionary tale as glaring as
know.
possible. Mm-hmm. But you ignored it.
Yeah. Well, I've always like loved danger, you know, like if I'm in a room and it's like not anymore, like now I've really actually learned, you know, but it took like a lot of times of making the same mistake. Like walk into a room, who's the biggest, cockiest asshole, like center of attention kind of guy, like life of the party. That's who I'm going to want, you know?
Why?
I don't know. Cause it's like, I don't know. I always used to say like, if it's not like earth shattering, I don't see the point. You know, like it has to be like that level of adrenaline and that like skydiving level of dating, you know, like it just has to be insane or else I just don't want it.
Is that still the same today?
Kind of. And that's why I don't even date because I'm like, because I know what I like and it's going to kill me and I need to just.
And you have a son to live for. It's
That's what
a totally
I'm saying.
different thing.
Like, and I've just, that trumps everything else. Like nothing is worth even missing 1 minute of my son's life, you know?
Do you regret meeting this ace and moving forward with that relationship?
No, I really honestly don't really regret anything.
You can't.
No. Like, there are moments where I'm like, oh, you know, like I wish I would have called my best friend back sooner the night she died, you know, or I wish I would have stopped by because I was 2 blocks away from when my other best friend died. I wish I would have just stopped by because I was in LA. I was right there. Like those are like the things, you know, but I know that that's like irrational and like there's nothing I can do about it. But other than that, like anything having to do with me, like I'm okay.
I deeply understand that. And you should give yourself as much credit as possible. Losing one friend, let alone 3 in any amount of time is incredibly hard and devastating. I lost my
just never come back from it.
No, I lost my best friend last year and it's been the hardest thing ever. And
How?
She had a chronic illness.
Okay. So it was kind of like you knew it was going to come eventually or it still came out of nowhere?
It came out of nowhere, but like you knew that there was a possibility, right? It was one of those. And it's really incredibly hard. And grief is like weather. Like some days you remember the most beautiful memories and it's sunny and beautiful, and other days it's cloudy and foggy and you can't remember them that much. And other days you need them deeply and it's a fucking hurricane. It's devastating.
Yeah.
How do you navigate it?
I don't.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like I've just never been the same.
You had a moment though with the medium that at least gave you some moment of
Jeffrey Wands. Oh my God,
on
he
Joanna,
was amazing.
right? Or Jonna?
For Jonna, yeah. I saw Jeffrey Wands for Jonna, and then I tried to call him again, but he moved down to like Palm Beach or something, so I'd have to like go find him again. But that was insane. And I've had other medium experiences where it's like, oh, I so badly want to believe this, but I know it's bullshit, you know? But he was really the real deal. Like he just knew stuff that nobody knew, like stuff I'd never even vocalized before, and he knew it. And it was like pre-Uncut Gems, like pre-fame. Like he wouldn't have no idea. Like this is like a 60-year-old man living in line. Like he had no idea who I was. Yeah. So that was a lot of closure. But, you know, it still doesn't take away the fact that like I'm like looking at the empty seat next to me and I'm like, oh, you would be there. You know, and also like she would love this. Like she would be living for everything, and like she'd go on location with me. Like she was that type of like really ride or die, like put anything she has going on aside, which wasn't much, but like just come with me on my adventures. And you know, I think that in turn, like I distracted her from her issues and she could focus on my issues. And then, you know, it was like that kind of friendship.
But is that enough motivation to keep going no matter what? Is this idea that she would have loved to be here, and she definitely is around you?
I mean, sometimes it's the only motivation, because one of the things Jeffrey Wan said to me was not to be boring because she's going to be there and she still wants to have fun. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this, but like I know she would love it, so I'm going to do it. And yeah.
I find there is some sort of peace and ease in like the slightest moments in navigating grief when you can feel their energy and their presence around you, because it does exist. Like,
absolutely,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I know it does. I think that they come through like electrical charges. Like sometimes I'll just be like talking out loud and then the lights start flickering, or like, you know, things like that happen all the time where it's like it just happens so often that I'm like, it's obviously them. Like it has to be them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Dude, I fucking lights flash, things will happen, things will fucking drop. Like,
Yeah.
In moments like I have like articles on my best friend's clothes that they would just like randomly appear like on the floor. Nobody put it there. Weird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's science. Like energy
100%.
can never die. We
Truth.
are electrically charged. Where does the charge go? You know, like I think it just changes shape, you know, but I think it's still out there. It's just, maybe it's just a consciousness, you know, maybe like, I don't know. I've thought about it for hours and hours and hours, but I definitely think it's still there though. I just don't know if we'll ever understand it.
Truth. Mm-hmm. There's some peace in not being able to ever understand it too, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think it has to be that way, you know.
How much of everything you've been through is channeled into the acting roles you take? Is it a part of
Definitely,
like your technique?
a lot. Yeah, yeah. Like I'm really good at like super dramatic roles, like the screaming, the crying, the fighting. Like I like Oscar worthy
Been there,
level.
done that.
Yes, like I am so good with just the like release of the you know. But then like the really like casual stuff, like hey, nice suit, or like I don't know, like that stuff. I'm like, how does a normal person say that? Like, I don't know. So like I get stuck on like the weirdest little things where I'm just like, what, you know? But I've been really lucky to work with directors that kind of let me just like improv and do my thing. And I feel like that's always the best. Like that's movie magic in my opinion, you know? Like when actors are reciting lines, it's just, I can tell that they're reciting lines, that it's not just at the tip of their tongue and they're, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's just something I look for now.
What is currently on your vision board?
You know, I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm like, I believe it or not, I'm like still in survival mode because I feel like I just have so much going on all the time. And like, I'm really trying to learn how to balance. I would like Valentino to have a sibling, but it might be a journey that I just go on by myself, you know?
That's really amazing.
Yeah, like he needs a sibling. I feel, even though we have a really nice thing going on and it's so nice just us two, I do want him to have that. Because for me, like my brother was like so instrumental in my life and I love him so much.
Changing, having a child changes everything for you. Like in life, it's like you reprioritize everything. Everything becomes different.
Everything. It's like, I always say, it's like running a fine tooth comb through your entire life, and anything that isn't hair is just gone.
Yeah.
Like
That's wild.
my life just got stripped down to just the bare necessities, the fundamentals, people, places, things, like anything that wasn't serving me, gone.
That's healthy.
Yeah. And, but then it's like, I don't know, I look at other moms and it doesn't seem to like affect them in that way. And then I'm like, what? Why is it so much harder for me that, or I don't know, maybe they're just not as good of moms as I am. That could also be an option.
But I do think like reprioritizing what you have around you and understanding what's important like should happen when like you create life.
Yeah. I mean, now it's like if I'm not working, I'm just with my son.
Yeah.
There's no in between. Like I never like just go out to eat with my friends. Like if I do, it's always kind of like work related or like, but my friends come to me, and I'm lucky enough that I live in a home with my best friends also.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So I have my little family unit.
You've done that for a long time.
It's always been my thing. Yeah.
Since
Chosen family.
Amazing.
So important.
It's healthy too.
Yeah. And I honestly, like anything I do, I bring them along. Like my best friend from middle school, Kara, she's the most amazing producer. She produced my music video. She produced the event party for it, which was honestly the best event in the world. Like, or Brianna, like we've been best friends since high school and we started a fashion line together. That didn't work out because I couldn't get my shit together. But now she styles me and when we work together all the time. And like, or Richie, who I live with, like any like she shot the cover of my book, always shooting me for anything. And like, I had Richie come be a guest judge. Richie and Brianna both be guest judges on OMG Fashun. But yeah, like anything I do, my friends are always, Richie was in my music video. She started my music video. So, and Brianna styled the whole thing. So like, that's kind of how, because of motherhood, if I want to get to hang out with my friends, I kind of have to create some sort of work situation and get us all together. And then, on the plus side, it doesn't really feel like work.
Yeah.
And you kind of kill two birds with one stone.
And you get to be vulnerable, create art, be you. There's a bunch of pluses.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Mm-hmm. What are you thinking?
Why was it time to release music now?
It really started during my book tour. Like I'd always wanted to do music. Actually, when I was little, I told my mom that I wanted to be a rock star and she like laughed at me and said, that's not a real job. Like that's a hobby. Like just forget it. And it really stuck with me. Like I don't even remember anything she says to me, but I remember that, And I don't know. Like I feel like the dream was just shot. And I remember I was getting guitar lessons at the time. Like I really wanted to be a rock star. And then I just kind of lost interest. Yeah, I know. And anyway, so it had always been something I like loved. Like music was always my first love, my first escape. Like I would listen to K-rock every single, like all my peers were listening to Britney Spears. I was listening to Nirvana, like I loved rock and roll.
And you lived like a rock and roll life.
I did.
Just without the music.
Yeah. Yeah. And so anyway, I was going on the book tour and I knew I'd have an audience because I was going to be doing like a book thing. And I was like, oh my God, perfect. Like I can. And so I made a song with my other friend, Ben, who also lives with us. He makes music and he also directed my music video. And we made the song in like an hour. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like that's why the lyrics are kind of just like whatever, because we literally wrote them in like a second and then he worked on it and made a whole song. And then it kind of like went on TikTok and Charli heard it and then Charli wanted me to perform it at the Boiler Room. And then so it kind of like, it's just been a domino effect. I definitely did not think I'd be here like talking about that or because of that. But, people really like the song and I would love to make more music, but like, I'm not out here like, trying to like win a Grammy or like, you know what I mean? Like I have realistic expectations. Like I'm only going to do this as long as it's fun. The moment it like stops being fun, I have 10 day jobs. Like I don't need this,
What are the 10-day jobs?
I act, I have my show, I'm writing and producing a movie right now. I might write another book. Amazing. We're still figuring out what it would be, like how it'd be formatted. I'm a mom. I'm a single mom. Yeah. That also like takes up so much of my time. So like if I'm going to take on anything else, it really has to be because I'm having so much fun and it's like giving me life. Otherwise I just like don't need it, you know?
Did you feel fulfilled after recording the record?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, wow, because Ben had been like hassling me, like, hey, are we gonna? Because I had said like, hey, I want to do a song and perform it, and he really like held me to it. He was like, okay, are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it? And then one day, Valentino like went down for his nap, and Ben was just there at the doorway, like, okay, we're gonna do it. And I was like, oh, fine. And then we did it, and it was so easy. It just flowed right out of us, and it just happened so organically that it was like meant to be, you know,
is
like
this
it was.
Only song you've ever done?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How did you find writing lyrics compared to writing the book?
Well, I think what had happened was that he made like a beat or something. And then I just started like, I'm a bitch, I'm a girl, I'm a woman. And then we like wrote the hook and the bridge and all the things. And I mean, it's different because like when you're writing a memoir, you're pulling from your own life. You know what you're going to write about. It's there. You know, it's fact. This was like okay, but honestly, it came pretty naturally. You know, not saying that I wrote a masterpiece, but I mean like it was pretty chill. And I've always been like into poetry. I've gotten like my poetry published. I've always loved poetry, and I feel like songwriting is kind of like poetry. It's not that far off. So
You're 100% accurate.
Yeah.
You're on it.
Yeah.
You should do more of this.
More songs?
Yeah, why not?
I will. I have some ideas.
Like songs really are taking like fact and putting them through emotion and then like boiling it down.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. It's like what other thing you like listen to and it makes you want to like, you know, like that's like amazing. Nothing else does that.
What does Charli XCX mean when she says, I'm so Julia? Like, what does it mean to be so Julia?
Just being that girl. And just, I think just like being confident, putting yourself out there, being out, being about, being the center of attention, just being that bitch.
So how did you feel when Charli XCX was like, I'm going to write this whole song basically about you?
I mean, it was always been a dream of mine to have like a shout out in a song, you know? And when she told me that she was shouting me out in a song and wanted me for the video, obviously I was like, y'all check my schedule. But inside I was like, ah! And it was the coolest thing ever. And making the video was so fun. I was on like 2 hours of sleep actually. But everyone was amazing. She got all the girls. It was just like a fun kiki for the girls. She's amazing. Like she really is. Like so many girls are like, I support women. It's like, no, you support yourself. You know, you're the only woman you support. And I feel like she really actually supports women, and she supports unconventional women and like just women that society maybe looks at and is confused by. Mm-hmm. She's not confused. You know, she sees the truth. So we love Charli. We stan.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
And so freaking talented.
Really special.
I know.
So do you remember the moment you realized you were like that girl? Like you were
Julia in the song?
No. Like in life. Like,
I mean, not really. No.
Okay, how about the moment when you realized you were literally absolutely everywhere, all over the internet? And
I was
your
like,
life was gonna be
I was
different.
scared because I was like, oh my God, and I'm getting sick of me. Like, what's happening?
Well,
you know,
like,
and also it's like it's happening to you, you know? So you're just like, wow, what's going on? You know, like, what does this mean? This never happened before. You know, it was definitely like an exciting time, but also like a confusing and anxious time. Like I dropped like 50 pounds. I was like, I didn't know how to be because I was like, oh my God, I'm being perceived at all angles. Like it was just like, you know, I had to really constantly remind myself to just be myself and like all this doesn't matter, you know? And now I'm at a place where I'm good. I'm grounded again.
But also being you fuels that. Right? Like being you and just answering questions or saying things a certain way It ends up fueling the exposure. And like,
I know. And I'm literally just being
you,
me.
and that's like, like the moment when you go from just being like a famous, like local to being a globally famous person.
I know. Yeah.
Because you were known in New York City, but.
I was always a hood celebrity for sure. Yeah.
And now you have your books are going for like $2,000.
I know.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
Is fame something you always wanted?
It wasn't something I wanted because I always felt like it was like not cool to want it. You know,
Yeah.
like it was like
Cringy.
celebrity you. Like I'm still like, I'm not a celebrity. Like don't ever call me that. You know, like I don't identify like I'm a famous artist. Period. That's it. Like I'm not in that world. Those aren't my people. Like we don't, I'm over here and they're over here, you know, that's just how I feel. But I always knew I would be famous.
And is it what you expected it to be?
Kind of, yeah.
Anything surprise you about now being known?
Not really. No, because like I grew up in like the Britney Spears era of like horrible people just being so horrible on the internet. So like seen it all, you know.
And by the way, like very like intense tactics, paparazzi tactics.
Yeah.
Like wild shit.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what's surprising is just how mean other women can be to women. That's always surprising because as a woman, I'm like, whoa, like what's wrong with you? You know, like who hurt you? Like go get some therapy. You're taking it out on the wrong side, you know.
But it's all a cycle. You said it.
It is, you know, everyone is someone's victim.
That's it.
So it's like obviously her husband is really mean to her at home. So she takes it out on, you know,
People she's jealous
either her
of.
child or other women on the internet.
Interesting.
That's
Sad.
like what a Karen is, you know, just like a sad woman with a really mean husband.
It's really
I
sad.
think.
No, I sadly think you're accurate.
Yeah.
And that's
You know, because you know, you have to put that anger somewhere and you go to where whoever's weaker than you. Because the same way he's bullying you, you need to go find someone to bully.
Do you go to therapy?
No, I don't have time.
So how do you figure this out through deep analysis and awareness?
I'm a really deep thinker.
Were you always that way?
Yeah.
Really?
Definitely. Yeah.
It's the way to ponder and navigate.
Well, you know, I guess I'm just always trying to make sense of it, you know, and like I always, as an Aquarius, I always see the bigger picture and how like everything's all connected and linked and not like there's no like isolated incidents. Like everything's all kind of like, it's like all like a butterfly effect. And
It's true.
yeah,
And history always repeats itself.
always.
By the way, you got to listen to the book. Listen to it because you can do it on Audible. You've been listening to it.
I'm halfway through.
Oh, thank you.
Your life is just crazy.
Honestly, this is like the PG version. I was like, I'm just gonna dip my toes in the water and see how it's received because I was like afraid to really go that because I was like, I don't want to ruin people's lives like this far into the game, you know, like. Some sleeping dog, you know, what is it? Let sleeping dogs lie. Yeah, like it's not worth it,
This
you
is
know.
the PG version?
Yeah, definitely.
What did you leave out? You talked about everything in there.
My lips are sealed. The dogs are sleeping.
Down the drain. There's going to be a link below to listen, or you can grab it on your Kindle, obviously. It'll be there.
Well, you just revealed that you've been 2.5 years celibate.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to, one, do that, but then also just reveal that?
Wait,
Well, actually, I had been talking about it, but I guess it didn't get like picked up in that way. But I've been like very open about it. And then when I saw the Bumble ad thing going down, saying like whatever it was, like yeah, right, like celibacy isn't an option or whatever. I was like, well, actually, you know, but also celibacy isn't the right term because celibacy is like you're not having sex for religious purposes. So I'm not celibate because I'm like, you know, a follower of Christ. I'm abstinent.
That's
I'm
it.
abstaining from sex. Because I felt like with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, that if they were going to take away our rights to our body and our reproductive rights, well, then this is my way of taking them back. You
I
know?
respect that.
And I feel like more women should really get on that because we hold the power, you know, over our, you know, for the most part, not in the law, but of our body. We can say no.
I feel like not enough people are talking about the overturning of Roe v. Wade and the fact that if there is an election in November that goes in the way that is not the Democratic way, it's going to really hurt our country for generations to come.
Yeah, it's going to take a really long time to come back from it. And I
mean,
get
maybe
that
not
it's
even
hard.
in our lifetime.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, definitely not in our lifetime. And it sucks because, you know, Biden is just not a good candidate. And I can see why people aren't excited to go out and vote for him, you know. But it's like at this point, we need to vote for the lesser of two evils. Like, it sucks that our elections are so bleak and uninspiring. But, you know, obviously I'm going to vote for Biden, even though I
get it.
think he's a fucking idiot, you know.
Here's what I'll say. Genuine human being with a really good heart and surrounds himself with the right people consistently and has a track record of doing the right thing by the American people no matter what. Obviously, questionable things happen that you may not agree with, but overall, look at the entire picture and vote in that direction.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, let's get inspired by candidates in the next election while this election's utilized to really ensure that our inalienable rights, that like so many people, men, women, children, minorities, they require these rights to live safely and freely. And they all are so genuinely at risk. Like, it's not like, I'm not like mincing words. It's like, this is not a fucking joke. Like, everything's on the ballot come November.
And I think it's hard for people to see that because, you know, so many of even your listeners probably live in major cities. But it's like, no, it's like all the people that are not in a city that are going to really, really suffer the most. You know, they're not going to have the resources
at all. And by the way, with what's happening right now with the Supreme Court and where it's going, it's changing rapidly. And like the states being able to decide, all that's changing rapidly. And it's like, we were really fortunate. We did a terrestrial radio show for 10 years and we were on like 90 different like big and tiny cities all across America. We traveled to a lot of like places right in the middle. And you're right. People forget about what goes on there.
Yeah.
Like I call New York and LA the armpits of the country.
Yeah.
And the people who are living in the armpits, they have their headphones in. Like they just live a different life.
It's a totally different existence, you know? And it's like, we'll always have the free clinics and the things, but like someone down in Mississippi won't, you know? And it really is life or death. And we need to vote with those people in mind too. Because it's just like, I feel like people in major cities just have blinders on. Like they don't realize how freaking fortunate they are.
Totally. And like again,
now I feel bad for complaining that I grew up in New York.
By the way, if you need to register to vote, you should. Headcount.org. We'll also put a link below. I really ask you to do so and just to understand that like it's like Roe versus Wade. It's the idea of health insurance, trans rights,
gay rights,
everything in life and society and culture is on the ballot in November.
And they want to take everything away.
Totally.
And they want these crazy radical evangelicals to take over the country.
To run
and
the
it
court.
really will be Handmaid's Tale. Like it really will.
Oh, it's really.
It's already becoming Handmaid's Tale.
I'm sweating right now.
Yeah.
But I don't want to bring up sweat because I know you have a condition.
No, but I know my hyperhidrosis. But like that anger and that rage is why I haven't had sex in 2.5 years. Because how could I open my legs to a man who's not standing up for me?
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, like, no, you're not on my side, so you can't come inside, period. It's my next song.
Wait.
It's for my mixtape.
Honestly? Yes.
Thank you.
An election anthem.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like the longer you go without it, the less you think about it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think like the first year, I was like, oh, wow, like 6 months. Oh, my God, 8 months. And then I was like, shit, it's really going to be a year. And now I like don't even think about it. Like I don't care. it doesn't interest me. It's kind of like when you quit something,
Yeah,
like
that's what I was-
cigarettes, like harder
yeah.
in the beginning, and then you're like counting more. And now it's like, I realized like when that whole Bumble thing was going on, I was like, oh my God, it's been almost 2.5 years. It'll be 2.5 years at the end of May. So, and we're all
Wow.
basically almost at the end of May. So, you know, and I've really, truly never been better. My pussy smells like roses. I haven't had BV. I haven't had a yeast infection. I haven't had any of the issues that come with having sex with men. No offense, you guys.
Anybody doing it?
But like, it's true, you know, I'm healthy and I'm centered and I'm focused. And I feel like nothing good ever comes from sex, you know, like it's just always a headache in one way or another. And it's like, it's just not worth it for me.
I relate. I do. I haven't brought it up in many interviews because it's been a while, but I was a virgin for 30 years and I'm only 31.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love that.
So, like,
that's so special. But you know what? That's why you've been so successful and had
I
your
guess.
radio show and all your things because you haven't been distracted by dumb shit.
And there was a moment in time where I was like, oh, like maybe I should focus on this. And like it stressed me out for like 6-8 months, maybe a year. And then I was just like content with just existing and like, I don't know, living. And like if it happened, happened. And you just forget about
you
it.
forget. Exactly.
It's
But in the
interesting.
meantime, you've put all your energy toward creating spaces where artists can come and a safe space for them to be themselves. And, you know, like there's just so many amazing things you can do when you're not having sex.
Oh, what a beautiful way to just look at my virginity. Thank you so much. Really, listen to the book, and you can read it too on Kindle. We're going to put a link below. What are you thinking?
Well, I know you have to go soon, but I want to talk about fashion and OMG Fashun.
Oh, yeah.
My first question is, do you dress for yourself or for other people?
I dress for the girls and the gays for sure, and me a little bit.
So, I mean, like when you get up, is it almost like art for you? Like you want people to look at you like it's like a gallery and that's
It
why
is,
you wear these
yeah.
outfits?
I feel like I'm the artist, but I'm also the canvas. And that's really fun because I can do all different things on myself because for a really long time I didn't. I wanted to look hot and that was it. So I would just look one way. Like I literally wore a uniform. Like I wore the same thing all the time, did my makeup in the same exact way because that's what men responded to. And that was my life. And I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing. So now that I'm really free of that, I just play around and I have so much fun. And like, yeah, some people don't get it. They're like, she's doing too much. And I would counter and say, you're not doing enough, you know, like, but yeah, the show is amazing. And I really care about the planet and I care about upcycling. And I really do think the future of fashion is upcycling. We're already seeing some of the bigger brands catch on and they're starting to dabble in the upcycling too. And
So you mean like being able to like return your clothes and then resell it essentially?
yeah, or just taking your old clothes and creating a new garment out of it, you know? Like there's so much you can do. Like the things these kids come up with, it's like you wouldn't even know that it's upcycled because it's that spectacular. And it has to be the future of fashion because we can't continue to fill the landfills with just millions and tons of old, you know, shitty fast fashion clothes.
Yeah, I was like, how do you
it's
feel
just not-
about like Zara and H&M and those companies just constantly?
I don't want to knock it because I
Yeah.
know that, you know, for some people it's the price range and it's a good price range. But I will say that for that same price, you can go to a secondhand shop, a vintage shop, a consignment shop, and buy a one of a kind piece for the same exact price. And also, why would you want to look like everybody else? Everybody's wearing the same stuff from those companies. Like, be different.
Yeah.
Dare to be different.
My favorite moment would be going to like Coachella with a friend who like got this outfit that they love from Zara, and then within literally 35 seconds, you see 8 other people wearing the same fucking thing.
And it's like, come on,
Nightmare.
you know. I feel like your clothes should be a unique expression of who you are, you know, and you don't want to send out the message that you're like a basic. You know, like it's just not the way to live. Like you really only live once and you should take every opportunity to express your uniqueness and not like, I feel like we're so taught to like fit in, blend in, you know, like just be like everybody else. But like, no, you are not going to be living your authentic truth. You are not going to find your path. You are not going to find your people if you do that. Like you kind of have to unmask and be like, hey, I'm a freak, for the other freaks in the room to be like, oh my God, you're my person, you know, like, so that's why I love doing the show, because I'm so inspired by these kids.
And they're so talented.
They're so talented.
Yeah, what they can create with trash is amazing.
Dude,
Yeah.
like it's really, it's like wearable art, you know, and it's also just so beautiful to like, you know, take trash and make something so stunning. It's like, wow, you know, like.
And you know what? You guys can be kind of brutal to these people. You can be like, no, that sucks.
Well, some of it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, not that they suck, but obviously there's time constraints.
Well,
they
you're giving
start
them a hard
overthinking
task.
and, you know, obviously not everyone's going to perform well under pressure, but they're all very talented, even if they don't win the competition. I will say that.
Do you ever feel bad having to kind of look at them in their face and look at the dress they made and be like, yeah, this isn't great?
Oh my God. It was so hard in the beginning.
Like
I kept just being like, Law, what do you think?
You would always turn to him.
Yeah, because I couldn't. It was like, oh God, this is so bad. But then I got comfortable, and also my stylist Brianna like will go and get everyone's contact. Like there was one show who didn't win, one of the contestants, but I ended up wearing a little like 2-piece set during my press tour that he made.
Cool.
So, you know, even if they don't win, I'm still going to platform them in some way or another.
Yeah.
You know, because it really is about uplifting them and trying to spread this message as far and wide as possible.
Yeah. Do you care about comfort at all when it comes to fashion? Like when these guys are making these outfits
in my day to day,
yeah,
yes,
okay.
absolutely. I'm a comfort queen. Like I don't care what I look like. I sweatpants, baggy jeans, t-shirt, like hat, you know, like sure. But if I'm gonna really do it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna really like seize the moment and go for it. You know, it's for me. It's very much all or nothing. There's never really like an in between.
It's like go big or go home.
Exactly. So I'm not trying to waste anyone's time.
It's like that in a lot of aspects of your life, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very much like an all or nothing kind of girl.
One of my favorite quotes from the show is you looked at somebody and said, I love a Canadian tuxedo. It's so American. I was like, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah,
So true.
so true.
Yeah.
You can watch a show and you can definitely grab the book down the drain. You can listen to it too, Audible or Kindle. There's a link below. Where can you watch the show?
It's on Peacock. It's on E and then Peacock.
Very
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
Grab it.
Mondays.
what's it like
Mondays
working
at
with-
9 p.m.
What's it like working with Law Roach?
A dream come true.
Yeah. Seems like it.
I had tapped Law like years ago during the Uncut Gems rollout, because she was really the only celebrity stylist I even knew who was on my radar. So we went out to Law, and Law's team came back and said she was too busy. But you know, like I said, I always get what I want. And I didn't, I just, you know, I sat on it and I waited until I had the right opportunity to come and, you know, present something that she would work with me on. So here we are. It was destiny.
Now you gotta get Zendaya to be a guest judge on the show.
Imagine. Oh my God. I don't know if I'd be able to like get through the show.
Manifest.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Thank you. You guys are amazing.
No, you're really an incredible person. Like,
Thank
and you
you.
give such a special mom and incredible artist. It's really something. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
The last question I had after reading about your childhood is, do you think about the day your son gets caught stealing and like what you're gonna say to him? Or like gets caught doing something you
Well,
did
I
as
know
a
when
child?
I got caught stealing, my mom like asked me for a piece of the gum that I had stole. And I feel like that was probably wrong.
Yeah.
So I will be that mom that's like, now we're gonna go back and return it. Like I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that.
I love it.
I'm gonna do it. I see the white moms doing it on the TikTok, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be that Karen. Or maybe like, I don't know, maybe like pretend, I don't know. We'll have to see. Like, I don't know. But I definitely get a lot of my parenting advice on TikTok.
Was it white mom TikTok?
I mean, they just come up, you know, like,
The algorithm does
but
give
it's like,
you...
but it's like, I don't know. Cause then it veers very quickly into like scary Mormon mom also. So it's like, It's hard. It's so hard because there's so many moms coming at you with different things. You know, it's like, what is the right way? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A part of this is like figuring out your way based on what you've been
Yeah,
through. And
it's true. Also, it's like every kid's different. Every
Totally.
kid needs their tailored parenting, you know? So,
Genuinely, I just need to know though, for life, you have 2 books of photography. One of them is called "Symptomatic of a Relationship Gone Sour: Heartburn and Nausea." Is that genuinely the sign of a relationship that's just totally gone wrong? Is like you feel those physical symptoms?
yeah, that could happen. I feel like in heartbreak, people get cancer when they get heartbroken. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like the stress is
The stress of
so
it.
much. People kill themselves over a broken heart, you know?
Damn.
It hits different for everybody, you know. And then some people are really good at compartmentalizing and like don't feel anything, it seems, but then, it'll come up in certain ways.
Like a tell that something is going wrong.
Yeah.
Heartburn, nausea,
Yeah.
indigestion, upset stomach. I'm just trying to learn about relationships because I have a relationship now for the first time ever. So I'm acquiring knowledge. So thank you.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, it's probably better that you waited until you were a little older. Yeah, I feel like more people should wait. I feel like people are always rushing to like get married, and it's like, but you still don't even know who you are,
'Cause
and then in
society
10
tells
years
us.
you look at your partner, you guys have changed so much, you don't even know each other anymore. I think it's better to like establish who you are, establish your career, have some money in the bank, so you're never like tied to anyone for the wrong reasons, and then you can think about sharing that with somebody,
Beautiful. Society shapes us though in different ways and tells us to do
Yeah.
things and fogs our shit, and
Yeah,
it's crazy. Wow. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Down the Drain. Listen to it, read it, link below. You good?
Yep.
Julia Fox, thanks
Thank
for being here.
you. I'm clapping for myself.
You deserve it.